We're live. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Call. I'm going to be drawing a comic. I'm going to be working on I Am the First. This is issue 4, page 8. Been making good progress on issue 4. I saved this page as one of the ones I wanted to do on stream because I thought it would be nice to do. Because it's kind of like a one-page scene. It's just like this page is a little self-contained moment, so I thought that would make for a good one. I have my thumbnails right over here, and I also have my script. My script over here, but you're not allowed to read it, so that's just out of frame. But I have those to refer to while I'm working on this. I already have my panels laid out and my perspective grids prepped here so we can get started. Hey, Hungry, thanks so much for joining me. All right, so I'm going to start by just kind of roughing everything in based on what I have in my thumbnails. And even though on I Am the First, I am lettering digitally, I still always make sure that I leave space where I think the word balloons are going to go. So I always plan them out in my thumbnails. And that way, when I'm drawing, I make sure that I leave space for them so that the word balloons are not covering up anything vital when the page is done. So get a little bit of a figure in perspective situation going on here. He's going to be doing this thing. So it's in the cab of a vehicle, which is why it's kind of like very close in like this. It's going to be the type of guy who does the like lean back while he's driving thing. It's a lot of thing like a thing that a lot of like taller guys seem to do. I think it's more comfortable. I wouldn't know. I'm not that tall. Right. There's his other shoulder. I'm going to have this arm kind of propped up on the window frame, just kind of relaxing as he's driving. There's the steering wheel. All right. I had to look up a bunch of pictures of the interior of this type of vehicle. Thankfully, that is something that you can find pretty well on the internet. There's a lot of good reference of the interiors of cars, or really like cars from almost any angle you can imagine, because car people love taking pictures of the inside of cars and putting them up all over the internet. So we've got some pretty good information to go from here. This is a 2020 Ford Police Interceptor, because this is we're with Darnell, Roxy's dad, for this particular section. So the internet, is there anything it can't do? Oh, I'm sure there are many things, but thankfully it's pretty good at finding images of the interiors of cars. That is one thing it is very good for. All right, there's the steering column. I have to not make a complete mess of this, however, which I have all the reference, but can I interpret it into something that makes a reasonable image is another matter entirely. We've got this section here. The steering column comes down like that. We've got the center console area. And then because it's a police car, it's got this extra little like panel doodad here with like the radio and the lights and stuff. So this comes down. I don't want it completely. No, I guess the top of his leg is up here, so that's fine. So got this extra little panel. We've got the radio on the little stand thing here. It's the best live stream steering column drawing on the entire YouTube right now. I mean, probably. I'm not sure how many other people are trying to figure out drawing the steering column right now. Oh yeah, we got cup holders. You can't forget the cup holders. Will he have a coffee there? Probably. I'll put his mug here. Oh, it's going to get covered by the word balloon. Darn it. Oh, well. Maybe I'll scooch it a little bit. We'll see. What is that? Okay. There's some strange thing. Oh, it's just like another little, like, almost tray table situation here, I guess, for putting like a laptop or something. So I would guess his laptop would be like right here. I think that's the idea. I know sometimes they have laptops like mounted right in this area, and that just seems like incredibly distracting. Just seems like not a good plan. I don't know. All right. So there's that. There's the side of the passenger seat. We're going to have the headrest up here. And this vehicle does not have a terribly large side window here. This actually doesn't come out very far at all. And then this comes down. Here's our center rear view mirror, just kind of barely in frame there. So this is like the sun visor right here. That's kind of cutting off the top of the windshield. All right, let's finish making some of these shapes because we need the instrument panel behind the steering column. There's so many technical bits. That's also part of why. That's where the donut box goes. Oh yeah, that's what that's for. Obviously, that's where donuts go. There's so many weird little technical bits on cars. All right, so we've got a, looks like the gear shift. Yeah, the gear shift is on the steering column here. So that's going to be right here. There's the instrument panel back here. I don't even know what's on any of this yet. We will get there. Right now I'm just trying to make sure the shapes are the right shape. Just make sure the shapes are shaping. All right, got some this business. These are like vents. Playing Galaga. You know, just patrolling whilst playing Galaga, like you do. That's fine, right? Totally fine. All right. The dash. We've got, what is going on over there? All right, let me look at this one. Oh, we've got bits. There's more bits and things. So we've got we've got another little box here. This is more police stuff. That's why I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And then we've got the radar here facing out the front there. Very fun. That all looks like just regular stuff over here. Okay. The mods they do for police cruisers are pretty extensive. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I made sure that I found like specifically the type of, because I know that also people who are into this stuff like really get this stuff and are very into it. And I'm sure that I will still make mistakes and leave stuff out, but I wanted to get at least as close as I possibly could and not just completely make it up and get it, all the way wrong. Which is why I was like, okay, what type of car do county sheriffs tend to get? And it's like, okay, then what does the interior of that look like when it is being used for law enforcement and not like a, civilian model? So there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on in here. This is a weird shape, but this is the underside here of the passenger side. All right. That's all just like the footwell on that side. Okay. That model car should have the doodad next to the what's it and you put them backwards. Yeah. People are like that though. Like that's why you gotta do your best. Try to avoid that. Right. We have the interior of the car now. I know I'll have to add more detail, but we have it at least like we have the bones of it there. Now we can move forward. I'll come back and add the rest of the detail later, but now we know where all of things are. We have the shapes. I'm pretty satisfied with how this is coming out so far. Like it does look like the interior of a car, so good. We're on the right track. Maybe I'll just move that speech bubble like over here. I don't think that would be a problem because then we can still see his coffee cup. I think we'll plan on that. All right. But I do need to leave room here and here. What is he saying? Yeah, that's fine. Because that still works too. Because then you still get this kind of swoop over to the next panel. So I think it works just fine there. As well or better as it would have right there. So that works out. The coffee cup actually made the page better. It's also like an interesting storytelling challenge in this scene in that we have a character in like this little one page scene, and that we have a character in a place where he does not like leave, and he can't like leave or move around the whole time. So like what are you doing to keep the page interesting and keep the acting working, the storytelling interesting on the page? All right. Got him talking into the radio whilst also driving. Here's this. Well, I feel like that's the steering wheel here. He has switched to his other hand because he had to pick up his radio. I don't like. It's gone. I don't like the posture we have going here. Move his head back just a little bit. There we go. Hey, Spud. So distracted driving it is then. Kids, don't do this. Hey, Spud, thanks so much for joining me. all the distracted driving. All right. He's talking on the thing. There's the seat. There's a little bit of a gap, and then there's the other seat. I've got a perspective line here to make sure that the inside of my cab stays like somewhat in perspective. All right. And then we've got the like wire mesh thing going on back there. We'll get to there. We'll get to there, but right now we just know speech bubbles here, person here. Basic start to this. Oh boy, now I get to draw a car. You get to watch me struggle to draw a car. That's great. I love it. Ugh. Cars. Oh, and now Chrome is freezing. That's fun. Hey, Chrome, wake up. I need my reference. Respond. Because if I just draw a little box, it's not gonna... So the police car is making a sharp turn. He's whipping around, turning the lights on, doing the whoop whoop. Okay, there's like where I want the base of the car to be, and I'm gonna like build it up from there. Okay, my reference finally decided to load. Chrome finally decided to cooperate. So let's just put that right here so I can see it better. All right, just moving stuff around on my computer screens. Okay. Now, cars are just boxes, but they're complicated boxes. So I kind of just start with like what I want the footprint to look like, and then I kind of build onto it. So it's like, okay, from that footprint, I kind of try to get the proportions right of like how high is like the hood, and just make that as like a rectangle built on top of that base, and just pull it all the way back. And okay, how far back does the hood go? Like proportionally, it's like between like a quarter and a third. So we're going to do it right there. That's where the hood's going to end. And then like how tall comparatively compared to like the height of the hood is the top of the car. It's just a little bit shorter than that. And then we pull that all the way back to the end here. This car doesn't have a trunk, because if it did, we'd like end that body and start the trunk wherever that is. And then we can, again, trying to keep everything in perspective with each other so you don't end up with a wonky donkey car. All right, well, now I have my very basic box. And obviously this is not what a car looks like, but this is a good place to start and start refining from there. So I can figure out where my wheel placement is in the basic proportions here. So we've got it like just ahead of it's actually a little bit far back because it's just ahead of the, where the windshield meets the hood here. So if I do that, it's like right there. And then the back one is pretty close to the back. Okay, so I've got my basic outline. I'm going to try to start refining this a little bit. So like I can still see the lines that I very lightly sketched on there, but I'm just kind of lightening them up, cleaning up that underdrawing a little bit so that it's not super heavy and distracting. So this type of car has a little bit more like rounded front. Windshield's got a little bit more of a rounded situation going on. Start getting some of these other details in the front here. They've got like a really wide front though, so I don't want to lose that. They are pretty boxy vehicles. All right, but the big thing that's going to make it look more like a car and less like a little wooden toy car is that windshield has a pretty big slope going back. And so that we need to create that backward slope. And that helps a lot in making it now look like, oh, that's a car. That's not like a little wooden block that you're trying to convince me is a car. Again, I feel like I'm losing some of the width on this. So I'll just nudge that over a little bit because it's an SUV, so it's kind of chunky. All right, so now from there we'll be able to start adding a lot more of the detail later, but now I actually have something that's way more car shaped to build off of. Again, not 100% there yet, but now it actually looks like it could be a car. So we've got that. I gotta put down, where do I have like the road and stuff? What do I have going on in my very simple sketch here? Oh, he's like turning around in like a parking lot. That's what's going on. Okay. Yeah, I'm turning around or like at a median or something to show that he's like completely changed direction. Just to help reinforce that idea that he's like completely doing a 180 here. It's an SUV. It doesn't need roads. Not just any SUV. It's a county sheriff's SUV. Well, if I want to drive there, that's where I'm gonna freaking drive. You can't stop me. All right, so we've got our little median here. There we go. And I'll have a sign there so that that'll also help to break up this action line. That'll go behind it, so you'll, again, helps reinforce that idea that he's actually made a complete turn. Okay, that should be that panel. Again, this is where we've got some word balloons, we've got the whoop whoop going on, so there'll be like sound effects over here too. That's good. All right, down here we are going to have I suppose I probably could have done a perspective grid for this panel, but I had already done several and I was tired of doing them. This is inside the car again. It's my panel and I'll grid it if I want to. Yeah, pretty much. Like To be honest, do I usually want to grid any of them? Not really. But sometimes it is necessary, and sometimes I know that I can probably get away with not, and so I won't. All right. There's the console with all the bits, which we will cross-reference where those are all supposed to be when we get to that point. But right now, the important thing is that he is driving to this scene, but also he has now pulled out his personal cell phone and is making a phone call, which is what we've got going on in his hand there. Now we've got a whole bunch of word balloons. And like close up on him while he's driving and talking. And yeah, that's totally a hand holding a cell phone. We will deal with that later. All right, there we go. So the important part right here is just his face on the phone. I will get to that hand. I will fix it in a bit. All right, so that only took us about like half an hour. It's 8:27, so we're making good time. We've got everything nice and roughed out on this page. It's a very good start. I'm feeling good about that. I need to sharpen my pencil. And where is my pencil sharpener? There it is. Not on top of my surge protector this time. Okay, so now I'm going to have to actually start getting into some of these details. This will be fun. Okay, I can't really see the side of that seat. Most car seats tend to have a pretty similar kind of deal to them. All right, now what is this little, this little radio on its little radio stand. I'm going to just start working on some of these details because I have the bones of everything in place. So I'm going to start working with the details that are closest to the picture plane so that I'm not killing myself on details that are later just going to get completely blocked by something else that goes in front of it. So that's the idea, with the exception of course, where something that's behind it in the picture plane is going to inform it or interact with it in some way. Pretty much just gonna work front to back, so to speak. All right. So we're going to start refining some of these little doodads. We've got the little handheld radio bit here, which seems to kind of like dock. I wonder if it's magnetized. It seems to just kind of be sitting on this dock perched on top of it, it must be magnetized. That's all I can think. Which makes sense, because then you wouldn't have to worry about it, like, slotting it or anything. I don't know. If we have any law enforcement officers or EMTs or anything in the chat, let me know if I'm understanding this correctly or not. Anybody who uses this type of radio. I guess some bus drivers or truckers might use similar ones as well. It's got the little grippy doos on the side. And then the holes for the talkie part. Yeah, this just looks like it looks very strange. It's just like a thing. I'll have to like research this and see what this is supposed to, how this is supposed to function, because this doesn't make any sense to me visually just looking at it. I'm sure I'm missing something. And then it's got to do the little loop-to-loop, little loop-to-loop cord, which we'll see more of in a moment when he picks it up. Grippy doos and talkie parts, yes, are vital to every police cruiser. These are highly technical terms. Grippy doos, talkie parts. All right, we've got the this is where the laptop with the like excessively like a Uber OtterBox case on it. All right, let's not lose the shape that this is supposed to be. Like, yes, it's got extra large rubber protectors on the corner, but they're still corners. They're not whatever the heck shape I was trying to draw there. All right, we'll have the little county sheriff sticker thingy on the back here. They must have like a custom wrap, so you know it's one of their laptops. It's got their little custom wrap on it. I can't seem to draw an ellipse today. Okay, that's still looking kind of sad. Okay. I'm just going to leave that blank. I'll probably add that digitally so it actually looks like the county sheriff or a county sheriff logo instead of a sad scribble. Okay. So what else is going on in this center console area? I love how their center console has all these like big, like exposed like screws and rivets on it. They're like, yeah, it's not only is it gonna be like nice and rugged, we're gonna make it look that way too. We're not gonna cover it up in any smooth consumer casing. Nah, rivets. We're going for an aesthetic here. All right. Let's see. First off, this little ledge, the little lappy ledge. And then we've got to have the cup of coffee here. All right. Cup holder does have like an extra little ring around it like that. Even the cup holder has like the rivets around it. Incredible. Truly incredible. Rivets. Okay, here's our little our first little panel of police stuff I gotta start adding here. This appears to just be like flat. There doesn't appear to be anything on it. This is like where this console slots in, I guess. There's probably like electrical connections and stuff in it. Oh, I'm losing my grid a little bit. Look at that. Look at that. My grid is going like this. My lines are going like that. That's not good. Let's fix that. That's better. Do you have some police car reference you're using? Oh gosh, yes. I have I was mentioning earlier that I looked up, since this character is a county sheriff, so I looked up what the county sheriffs in my area use for a car, and thankfully there's no shortage of images of cars from like every angle you can think of online, because car people just freaking love cars and love taking tons of pictures of them and putting them on the internet. So I have several reference images of the interior of a 2020 Ford Police Interceptor. So I've got all of these like little technical things to look at. So even if I don't like 100% get them right, I at least have a really good basis to be building off of. I'm referencing something that is real and does exist and is used for this purpose. So even if it's not like totally accurate, I'm getting a lot closer than if I was trying to make it up. Because if I was trying to make it up, this would just look silly. Like, I don't know enough about this sort of thing myself to convincingly fake it. So I'm relying on some very detailed reference right now. So let's see, we've got, looks like there's a charging port here, a couple of charging ports here, but I do want to make sure, you know what, I'm not really going to worry about those, because what I'm going to do is make sure, or I might be able to put them there. I want to make sure I get this little situation. I think this is like a lights and sirens type doodad here. It's got a bunch of buttons. It's like this little panel with so many buttons on it. So there's that little raised panel. We've got a row of buttons up here. That's getting very sloppy. What's going on there, Amanda? Clean that up a little bit. All right. Buttons over here. There's like a switch that goes side to side. And above it, there's some little lights. Down here, we've got some buttons. There's like 3 rows of buttons. So I'm just going to sketch in the 3 rows really lightly. So I get the size and the spacing on them good. And then I can add the actual buttons. So we've got like a few big buttons down here. And then like a bunch of smaller ones. Okay. So that's that little console situation. We've got some charging ports up here we're going to put in. And don't forget rivets. Big rivets. Okay. So over here, this looks like this side is mostly like just regular car stuff by the looks of it. It doesn't look like there's a bunch of really like unique stuff on the passenger side, which makes sense. But stuff on cars is like weirdly shaped too. So there's the challenge there. It's just that everything is shaped funny. Why does it have to be shaped so funny? All right, because that's like a heating vent, well, AC vent. Everything is so funny shaped. Oh no, this is like, okay, weird. Jumped the gun a little on this weird shape. This like goes back in here a little ways. Very bizarre. Just seems like somewhere where dust would end up a lot. I think I got confused somewhere in here with these weird curves. So that's this. This comes out to this corner. Okay. So that comes forward like that. Goodness. Okay. This doesn't seem to have like an upper glove box. It just has like one great big lower glove box situation. It's probably full of more like police stuff. Like, it looks like it should be a fairly simple shape, but this is actually very difficult to parse. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, there's this weird situation here. Which I'm not sure what that's about. But that is a thing. There's like a little divot going on down in here. This is all just dark. This is down in the footwell. We're going to have this little bit here and okay. Ugh. Why was that so difficult? Why was that section so difficult? And there's the dash up there. Okay. I'm not gonna belabor that much more than that. Whew, goodness. All these little details killing me. All right, we're already at 8:48. These little interior of this police vehicle details are extremely time consuming trying to figure all of this out. So I'm gonna try to continue figuring out some of these doodads while we go over the end of the stream stuff. So I will just remind you all that I'm Amanda Call. This is my YouTube channel, and if you like watching me draw comics, you should subscribe to it because I do this live stream pretty much every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'll either be working on my webcomic Age of Night, which you can read at ageofnight.com. That's AGEOFNIGHT.com. But right now, I'm not working on Age of Night. I am working on I Am the First, which is another comic project that I am working on. I kind of alternate between working on I Am the First pages and Age of Night pages for the streams. Got a little radio here. There we go. So yeah, this next couple of weeks is going to be working on this page, and then we'll go back to Age of Night pages again. But this comic right here, I Am the First, is a collaboration between myself and my friend Remy Flagg. Remy is the writer. I am the artist. Oh, look, it's a radio. That looks good. There are going to be many scenes inside this car. Thankfully, as of right now, just this page. And this is the only one that's going to have like all of this crap in it. This is one of these things of like if you draw this type of panel like one time, then a bunch of other times you can just show like just this little thing or just this little thing, and or just like, oh, just his head in like a corner of the thing, and we know where we are and we believe that this is a fully populated real environment because we've established that this is all in here. But I don't have to constantly do all of that, which is why this is called an establishing shot, because it helps set this stuff up so that you know that everything, yeah, a bunch of close-ups, a bunch of stuff where like the backgrounds are just not as involved in the scene. So like later on down here in this panel, it's like we're still in the car and we'll see like a little bit of that console that's like right up here, but you won't really see much else of any of that detail, but you'll know that we're still in the police car and you'll know that that's what's just out of frame. So you don't have to kill yourself on doing all of these tiny little details every single time, but it helps to do them like once in a scene. Be like, yes, this is what this place is like. This makes this place seem real. And then we don't have to worry about coming back and doing it again because it exists. We've proven that this space exists. I lost my train of thought. That's okay. But yeah, so I Am the First. We did a Kickstarter for this last year. And you know, it's not coming out as fast as we would like, but that is life. We're still trucking away on it. And so if you're interested in reading I Am the First or learning more about it, you can head to bravenewcomics.com. That's its little online home. We sell digital copies of the first 3 issues so far. Eventually we'll have all 5 issues. And then we will also be compiling it all into a trade paperback, which we will be selling. I'm very excited for us to get to that stage. Well, that's rather extreme angle going on there. Let's back that off a little bit. Yeah. So those are the big things. So yeah, like I said, you can buy copies of I Am the First or follow what we're doing. You can read Age of Night for free, or you can buy copies of it various places. But also, if you just want to help support me as a creator, you have a couple different options there. Obviously, subscribing to the YouTube channel is a big help. And then you'll always know when I go live. Following me on various social medias is also good. I'm on most of them as either Age of Night, AGEONIGHT, just like my comic and website, or as Amanda Call Art. So that's just my name, like you see here on the YouTube channel, followed by the word art. Try to keep it pretty simple. It would be simpler if I just did the same handle on everything, but I didn't do that for some reason. So, yeah. Those don't look like 3D buttons. They just look like circles. So I'm going to fix those whilst I finish this. Also, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Age of Night. I have Ko-fi or Ko-fi, however you want to say it, KO-FI, if you just want to do a one-off donation instead of monthly support, and that's at ko-fi.com/Amanda Call Art. See, no consistency whatsoever. All right, I think that's going to do it for this evening. We started with just some empty panels with our perspective grids, and we got everything roughed in so we know like what the bones of each panel is going to look like. all the way down through the page. And we got a really good, strong start on all the little technical bits and bobs in this top panel. So that's going to give us a really good jumping off place. We should be able to get through a lot more penciling next week when we do the stream. And also, yeah, I'm going to be at PAX Unplugged this coming weekend. I'm flying down there to help work at the Free League booth and hang out with people and say hi. If you're other tabletop gamers, then look for me there. Come by and say hello. All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me this evening. I will see you next time. Bye.